I have to tell you, I was getting annoyed earlier this morning when I was reading. They called this guy. Let's see if I can find it now. I found it this morning. Some football commentator or whatever. They're like some long time like analytics doc was trying to say, and they was doing the bit that we were kind of doing yesterday, that on average there'll probably be one great quarterback, one pretty good, and a couple are awful or whatever. And his tweet was something to the effect of, looks like Caleb Williams is going to be the breakout. And he says, and very likely Daniels is going to be the bust, essentially.
Why did he say that?
I don't know. It was making me crazy, and I didn't know the name, and it was for like FTN. Do you know what FTN is?
No.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, this must not be a legitimate guy. But I don't even know how you could justify that at this point.
Well, what did he say about the other guys?
Didn't really.
Oh, it did.
Just in the link that I saw, maybe
It's a fantasy site, FTN.
Yeah. And I guess, because listen, the Caleb has had some dazzling plays in the preseason
For the numbers
that are wowing people. And Jayden, as JP has talked about, has only had sort of one really explosive play, the one to Diami.
I think he's shown a lot with his legs.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's
limited work, but
I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be really, really good. I know we're going to have Ian Hartitz in, and
I'll give you some nuggets coming up at 7:45 that we can dive into, though, about Jayden Daniels.
Is that from Hartitz?
No, it's from our pal, Zach Kruger.
Yeah, and I don't know. We're going to talk to Hartitz about Kingsbury's offense. And listen, I don't know a ton about it, but I guess the sentiment is that Kliff doesn't throw downfield a lot, right? I know JP always talks about sideways passes. And they talk about how when DeAndre Hopkins was his 1 year when he was in Arizona, I guess they don't move their receivers around a lot. I think that's one thing with Kliff. He may not run a lot of pre-snap motion. Like you see, in Miami, those guys are moving around all over the place pre-snap.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Kliff doesn't do that a lot. Hartitz has noticed that McLaurin lines up on the left side, 28 out of 29 snaps. DeAndre Hopkins kind of did a similar thing. There's some predictability to Kliff's
I got to
offense.
think Kingsbury has learned a lot since his days at Arizona. He was there for 4 years, and he got fired in the fourth year. But his teams did get better. Took over a bad team in 2019. They went 5-10-1. Second year, they went 500. Third year, they won 11 games and went to the wild card game, lost to the Rams, but went to the playoffs. And then Kyler Murray gets hurt, and he had a bad year that final year, and he gets let go. And he was pretty balanced, but I got to think he's learned a lot. Don't you think?
I would think, but maybe it's just a staple. I don't think it's necessarily something where he's not aware of what he's doing. It's just a staple of his offense.
And I got to think if he's got talent, he's going to use that talent. So if he's got talent on the outside that can get deep and stretch the field, I think he's going to use it. Now,
it's not that he's not going to use it, but it's that there might be a predictability to it.
That's what I'm saying. So maybe he has learned over time, and he will be a little bit more unpredictable. But I do know that McLaurin has pretty much been on the left side the whole time,
right,
in the preseason.
They do talk about,
but again, it's preseason, so you're not really showing teams anything.
That's obviously true. That the no huddle rate that they've shown, which I've loved, which I think is more an indicator of just trying to get Jayden acquainted with running 2-minute offense and that sort of thing. But they're running it at a much higher rate than anybody else in the league. But it is preseason. Drab, you have an update on the FTN guy?
Well, it's not just just some random guy. That's Aaron Schatz, who's the longtime ESPN NFL analytics guy. So
you like this guy too?
Well, he's very well known in this industry. He's also the creator of the DVOA stat.
He's big on the DVOA.
So, this is a guy who knows what he's talking about. But this is all he said. This is all on the back of what we're talking about now of Ian Hartitz's nuggets on Kingsbury's preseason tendencies. And Aaron says, I keep saying that it's likely that one of the rookie QBs will be very good, one will be very bad, and the rest will be below average. It sure feels like Caleb Williams is going to be the good one, and Jayden Daniels may end up as the bad one.
Well,
and then he does a little asterisk and says,
I hate this guy.
Sorry, let me make that clear. It feels like Jayden Daniels may end up as the bad one, not through his own fault.
Right. I saw that.
Going back to how Kingsbury is predictable and teams figure him out quickly.
All right.
It's interesting.
I hate that guy.
I know through 2 preseason games, the guy with the most big-time throws, if that means anything to you, we've talked a lot about big-time throws, PFF's number, I think it is Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's had some remarkable plays, there's no doubt about it, where, that's his thing, where he scrambles around and rips off some throw against his body downfield. I mean, that is his thing.
Some people were knocking his completion percentage in the last game, which I believe was 50%, Caleb Williams. But I saw a film breakdown. I think it was on TV. Maybe I saw it online. And he had a couple drops. And he also had that one spectacular one, which looked like it was going to be a touchdown, where he was scrambling to the right and throws just a rope 30 yards to the corner of the end zone. And I guess the guy had a foot out of bounds. So it wasn't like he was inaccurate. It just, ended up being 50%. But if you looked at the context of it, it wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, just kind of going back to, he's only been a head coach in the NFL for one team, and it was only for 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But if you go back and look at the numbers, when he took over Arizona in 2019, that yardage per game, total yardage per game, they were in the bottom 10 in the league. Mm-hmm. And they won 5, 10, and 1. Okay. Points per game, they were roughly middle of the pack. They were averaging 22 a game. The next year in 2020, now, again, it's different quarterback, different talent, different receivers, different offensive line. I get it. But it went from 22 a game to 25 a game, and his total yardage went up to top 10 in the league. So he went from bottom 10 to top 10 in 2 years. The
Is
third
that the year they draft Kyler?
In 2020?
Yeah.
You'd have to go look to see what year that he was drafted. I thought Kyler was there in 2019, but maybe not. 2021, the points go up even more by 1 a game. So he's going from 25 to 26 a game. And again, in total yardage, they were also in the top 10, maybe top 8.
But their defenses were horrible.
Defenses weren't very good. But
how were they on time of possession and all that? Did they not possess the ball a long time? Did they run too much hurry up and all that?
You'd have to go look at that. But they went from 5 wins to 10 or 11 wins in that 3-year span, and they went to the playoffs in the third year.
Mm-hmm. So Kyler Murray came in 2019, which was
right. So
5,
that was
10 and 1
that was
year.
his rookie year. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go 8-8, and then they go 9-5.
I just don't feel
with
like
Kyler Murray as the starter.
I just don't feel like this guy
He won 10
Shats,
games.
who everybody loves, he's a pimple on my butt cheek. I don't even understand his rationale. Like, I know he's trying to now back off a little bit and say it's not because of Jayden, it's because of Kliff. But like what you just said, Kliff seemed like he's a fine offense coordinator.
I mean, I think he kind of proved it. I mean, his team's improved when he was running the offense in Arizona.
Right.
Now, the team sucked that 4th year, but Kyler got hurt.
Right. How do they blame him? There was also a weird thing, just to get back to Commanders as a whole for a second. For some reason, this guy showed up on my algorithm. I talked about him the other day. Drew Chrisman, is that how you say his name? The former Ohio State punter. And I noticed a couple days ago that he was one of the guys the Commanders brought in, for their sort of standard weekly workouts. Remember, they signed Martavius. Mm-hmm. Chrisman is a punter who came in, and he's documenting his journey as he's getting cut by every team. And
it's a cool video.
Yeah, he's got cool videos up there. I watch him. And then he documents what he did his tryout with the Commanders, and of course he inevitably got cut, and or they didn't want him. And the Commanders then 6 hours later, the legal department said take down all your social media posts mentioning us.
Cease and desist. He said no fun league.
Yeah, why would the command? First of all, I thought it was weird they're trying to punter. I guess you need one in case Trust gets hurt, but there's no way they're looking for a punter.
Looking at the video,
there's just no way.
Unless I missed something, I was expecting that maybe he showed something that they didn't want out there, but I thought it was pretty innocuous.
Yeah,
I mean, he showed us him not getting dressed, but he shows him before. Then he goes like behind a curtain, and then you see him dressed, and you see him walking out with his helmet.
I saw a video. He did the same thing with the Niners. He had to work out with the Niners recently.
I don't know.
I just think that
there must have been something they saw that they didn't want out there.
When you're looking at this particular team this year, I know we argued about Jayden a bunch yesterday. All right, and I think Jayden can be very good. He needs help around him, and he needs great coaching. I think they're going to get that. But this year, it's kind of, all right, let's see what he can do. Hopefully he improves from week 1 to week 17 or week 18. And then year 2 get better. And then year 3 get better.
Oh, yeah, he's going to keep getting better.
I don't think you can't grade a guy for his career after his rookie year. I mean, because the team's going to change next year. Things are going to change. This coaching staff's going to be together for minimum 3 years. So it's hard to say he's going to be a bust. I don't think he's going to be a bust. I do agree with him that based on history, those 6 quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round, not all of them are going to be great.
Right, but I don't think
there's going to be a certain percentage, maybe half, that are going to be just okay, if not bad.
The thing I hate about that is people are just saying that based on history.
Correct. Well,
but I'm asking people, look at the individual talents themselves and the fits. I'm telling you, I think a bunch of these, a preponderance of these guys are going to hit.
I don't think
it just might be an outlier.
I don't think
year.
it's just on history. I think it's also how hard the position is to play.
I agree. It is a very hard position to play.
Yeah.
But I actually think this is a unique year. We'll see, though. I guess you guys will get the last laugh.
I hope not. Like I said, you might not believe me. I hope that Jayden Daniels is good and we can ride the wave. Because you know what?
He's going to be good. I'm not worried about him.
Just think of how much fun we had with the Capitals when they won it all, and how much fun we had with the Nationals when they won it all. I want the Commanders to be good.
I'm not worried. Jayden Daniels is the least of my worries. I need Knicks to hit, JJ to hit. Drake, I don't know. That's Jason's guy, so hopefully he hits. I think Caleb will certainly have some spectacular moments. I think this will be a pretty good group. I have no idea. Penix. When are they going to ever play him?
It's just a wait and see. I mean,
3 years
there's so much football to be played.
Yeah.
And after 3 years, we'll go back and look at these 6 guys and go, all right, what do you think?
By the way,
is this guy really good? Is he average? Does he suck?
I'm going to say
has he been benched?
There are at least 5 out of the 6 will at least be average. That's what I'm going to guess. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be one great one okay one, and everyone else is just butt. Everyone else is Zach Wilson. I just don't think. I think it's a different crop. I think it's a special crop.
Well,
we'll see.
Well, yeah, we will.
By the way, did you see Teddy Bridgewater's coaching high school? I didn't even know he retired from football.
Yeah, that came out a few days or a couple weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, too many injuries.